Design is a powerful tool for innovation and competitiveness. In a globalizing world, national policies for design are increasingly recognized as an important means of shaping future prosperity and well-being. This is true for both developed and developing economies. This is a landmark event in the history of design policy, and it's exciting to be here in Cape Town, in the Western Cape, to witness what's happening here in terms of design.
And I think in our country we've got so much unemployment and such a depletion of resource. So it really is one of our priorities to try and create industries that are interdependent, that are self-sustaining, and that can create opportunities and revenue streams in order to, solve some of the socio-economic problems that we have.
Point about the global discussion here is that of the cities of the world only cover 1% of the world's Earth's surface, yet consume 80%, 85% of the world's energy, and will emit over 75-80% of the world's greenhouse gas emissions.
We're facing in South Africa unprecedented political challenges. We're facing inequalities. We're facing problems with crime. Who's going to solve that and how? Designers are not necessarily the answer, but they have a vital role to play in that. Design is a verb. It's something that we do. It's an active process of decision-making.
What I now know is that design is solving problems with ingenuity and with vision. So design is progress. Design is development. Design is problem solving. Design is understanding your problem and formulating a solution.
Design fuels new technologies and is an intimate partner of science research. Design assists in the creation of products that meet social needs.
Design is a very particular discipline that does something very unique and very powerful. And one is that it's an exploring model. It doesn't look for one truth in the way that science does. It can handle multiple truths at the same time and multiple hypotheses.
So you would understand the context, you would understand the users very deeply, you would live in their houses, you would follow them around, you'd understand how they think about things, you would have to deal with all the complications and the constraints involved, you would have to figure out how the pieces fit together. And that, for me, is the beauty of design, is that it takes the chaos and complexity and it turns it into something which is elegant, simple, doable, and produces the result that you're looking for.
All of the skills that are required to kind of survive and prosper in this turbulent environment that we're in, designers have that in abundance. It's something that, fundamentally comes from our ability to imagine business in a different way, and we have a very forward-looking view of the world as designers.
Designers need to understand the user and be able to build a bridge between the user and the company to create meaningful products, services, and systems.
I started trying to influence the people to get the users that are actually going to be using the system at the end of the day to get involved in the design and the development of the products that are going to satisfy their need at the end of the day. And it was incredible to see the difference that it made to the outcome.
We must be careful of assuming that design is the silver bullet and that it's going to solve every single problem that we encounter in South Africa or the world. And so we need to be quite focused and purposeful about the way we use design and talk about design.
What is design policy? And I say design policy is guiding the development of design and the application of design towards a vision.
What's design policy? Because design policy is a difficult thing to grasp. It's difficult to understand what it is. But it's about changing the situation or changing what you have, the scenery in design, in the design area. And it's about using design resources, using everything you have in the country to encourage the effective use of design in that country.
Policy today, for me, means mainly to create spaces for experimentation. Spaces for experimentation means places where you are allowed to fail.
We need to understand the political economy of design if we are going to discuss design policies.
An urban design strategy is actually an economic development strategy. It's about attracting people, smart, young, old, doesn't matter, but intelligent, smart people, entrepreneurs to your city. We need more than beauty. We need economy, we need people, we need buzz, we need love, we need excitement.
If there's a red thread that's gone through this conference, it is the need for uniqueness, identity, the spirit of place. It has to be grounded in a very particular context.
We are completely full of good ideas and ingenuity and the courage to take on problems and challenges that have thwarted some of the best creative minds in the rest of the world.
We need to acknowledge that there's so much more happening beyond the formal space that needs to also get recognition and support.
The advantage of being developing, like China, like Africa, is because we have energy behind this developing. And as long as such kind of energy can be gathered, and we should take advantage of this energy to generate the changes. How to cultivate and guide the qi. Qi means energy. Towards a certain kind of direction. This is a key of design policy making.
To bring the problems where people know the problems and they can manage the local complexity.
To look at where we need to engage our societies in developing such kind of a policy.
See what it is that is already working for the people who live in those cities. In that way, we are going to become more reflective, and we are going to be able to articulate the tools and methods that people are using, but that we need to also connect to the formal environment. And through that reflection, we are going to discover that we already have a plan.
You just inject a bit of innovation into an emerging market with all your first world thinking and et cetera, and then you sit back and watch the real magic start to happen, and you start to learn and experiment and play on top of that.
Where do we impact on the development of the next generation of designers who are going to have the skills and the competencies required to help us take our economy forward?
We need to promote entrepreneurship because they are the job providers. And if bright people are there who are working, rather than working in multinationals, if they set up their own company, they may be able to provide more employment to people, which is the dire need today in Africa as well as in India. So we need to use design to unlock indigenous knowledge and to also refresh it so that it's not just locked in the past.
The plan has to survive the politics. So it has to be the right plan.
And we are absolutely sure that through good design, we in South Africa, and particularly the Western Cape, can become the hub of a new green economy.
We don't need to have to go through wasteful stages of development. We can actually leapfrog into the 21st century in a much more sustainable and robust way.
And now for China, if we need to think about a new kind of economy, especially we put ahead of sustainability. So this is a new economy, and in order to make it happen, we have to change the logic from Kachempa to leapfrog. And that leapfrog is not only means approach, but it also means new economy and a new possible society.
And I think that what we do next means also what you say, how we move from planning to action. And I really think that this is very important, because if we don't act, we do not learn. And if we don't learn, we don't know where to go.
South Africa, we're awash with policy. So what we often grapple with, I think, as people working on the ground, is we have all of these fantastic policies, and actually what we struggle to do is to implement them.
If the policy is outdated and irrelevant, change the bloody thing. Change it. It's not set in stone. Just go through the process.
The title of the conference is Make a Plan, but I think what is the critical addition to that is make a plan and implement it.
Don't forget, make a plan. A Buddha mark a plan, yes it does, but doesn't mean it has to be a perfect plan. And it never was perfect. Just do something.
If we get together the right collaborators, we set our aspirations very high. Ludo referred to that earlier today. And we have the right research and resources. Our impact can be a quadruple bottom line.
South Africa is not lacking in its design efforts. There's more than enough to build on. What we now need to do is to start to come together and get to some point where we have an agreement on a kind of policy that will serve the identity, the specific socio-economic issues that we face.
What an amazing opportunity for us all to work together.
At the moment, South Africa, through this conference, is really poised for greatness and poised to make a difference.
The road ahead is rocky at the best of times, but I think the view from the top will be spectacular and really worth pursuing, even if it means that we become the guinea pigs that chart a path forward for better vistas in the future. And I think that if we take stock today and make a plan, the future could just be a new day, a new dawn, and a new life for creative industries.
The list is extensive, but the message is simple. Design drives the world. Neglecting to include design into our policy system is therefore inexcusable.
This is going to take design leadership.